Decoy for a Dognapper is the fifth episode of the first season of Scooby-Doo, Where Are You? I really enjoyed this, and this is the first episode watching the series chronologically where I think I remember it. I certainly didn't remember the specifics of the narrative or indeed who the culprit was, but there were little bits here and there that were tiny little memories, which is a really good sign, as I was starting to think I'd forgotten basically all of it. This obviously focuses on a Dognapper. And of course, with the gang investigating this, there's a bit of a concern because Scooby is a dog. And the actual Dognapper, as I said, I didn't work out. I didn't remember who it was, and I didn't work it out. I tend to not work them out with Scooby-Doo, which is something that I really enjoy. At least in my memory, I don't have a good track record of working them out. And that's something that I think is a pretty good thing, not just because it means that it's more enjoyable, but also I think it's a sign of good writing where they don't give away too much. And I certainly enjoyed the process with this one. There were a lot of things that I liked that I thought were really great, very well animated. Two personal favourites, and this doesn't spoil anything, but one is where Daphne, I think it was, sat down on a chair and then she disappeared. This is something I remember happening a lot with Scooby-Doo, where somebody would perhaps lean on a wall and they'd disappear, or they'd sit on a chair and it would be replaced with a chair where they're not there, and I always had a lot of fun with that. The other bit that I loved is when they're all falling down this ladder, this very, very long ladder, and it's just beautifully done, beautifully animated, really thoroughly enjoyed that. I think it's a fun narrative, very well executed, very well animated, and I could remember small bits and pieces. There is an element of it that hasn't aged very well, and that's the fact that they keep referring to these, to use the words in the episode, these Indian characters, and they're in an Indian village, and certain depictions are maybe not the best, and I think certainly for young children, I think for me, at the time when I was watching this as a young child, it would give off certain vibes about Indian characters, as it were. We are, of course, talking about Native Americans, and that's a little bit awkward, and it definitely hasn't aged very well. They wouldn't get away with doing that today, I don't think. That's just something worth bearing in mind when watching it. But that aside, I think Decoy for a Dognapper is a really brilliant episode. It doesn't surprise me that there were a couple of things in my memory that came back to me, things that were done very well, of course. And ultimately, it's an episode that I really thoroughly enjoyed watching today.